What's up? How you doing? The other day I had a situation that happened to me. I was walking on the highway, minding my own business there, where the breakdown lane is, only a little further in where the grass grows. It was a nice day, blue sky, sun was out and all that. And I noticed in the distance those gas tanks that you see off the highway, two of them. And they looked kind of funny to me. I didn't know what it was. I started walking a little closer, and I noticed that they were covered in something, and it looked like cake frosting. It looked like somebody took a big knife and just put a lot of that cake frosting on the outside of these gas tanks. So when I got there, I go, looks like vandalism to me. So there was a fire hose, coincidentally, right there. I picked it up, pulled back the switch, and I started washing these things down. And the foam was coming off, and it looked nice and shiny underneath, brand new. And I was kind of happy about it. So I put the hose down after I was done. I shut it off first so I wouldn't waste any water. And I started walking on the highway. And there was an off-ramp, so I went down the off-ramp, and I noticed there was a cop there directing traffic. So I started jogging, make it look like I was exercising, so he wouldn't ask me any questions like, what are you doing on the highway? And I was just walking anyway. Anyway, so after I passed him, about a minute after that, I noticed more and more cop cars showing up, and they're kind of like looking for somebody, left, right, looking, things like that. So kind of get the feeling they were looking for me. I go, I hope I didn't do anything wrong here. I was just trying to help out. So I go into an alley and start walking into the alley, but then I look behind me because I have a feeling somebody's watching me. And I see 5 cop cars back there with the lights. And then I look in front and I see another bunch of cop cars with the lights. And then one guy, cop gets out and he's got the bullhorn and he says to me, stop where you are, put your hands up. So I stop, got my hands up, and then they tell me to get down on the ground there. So I get down on the ground, and then they start approaching me, all bunch of these guys. And they start asking me all kind of questions like, what are you doing up by the highway? And I said I was walking. And then they said, was that you that washed down the gas towers? I said, yeah, that was me. They go, why? I go, I was just trying to help. I thought like a vandal did that, and I was trying to keep the city clean. And they said, no, that's not what happened. And they say, that foam was supposed to stay on those towers for 14 days. It's a cleaning detergent. So I go, I didn't know that. I thought I was just helping out. And so my face is now on the ground there, and I could hear them on the CB. They're calling in my name, doing a background check, all that stuff. And about a minute after that, an undercover police car comes, one of those black ones, and pulls up, near there, and I could see the feet, coming towards me. And then I hear my name. I was like, Nick, you can get up now. So I go, that sounds familiar, that voice. So I get up and I look, and it's Detective Stivoletti. He's a good friend of mine, and he started asking me questions, and then I explained what had happened. And I said, I didn't know. I just, I saw it and I thought some vandal did that, and I was just, cleaning it. And so he said, okay, don't worry about it. It's going to be all right. I said, okay, cool, because he said that that stuff is supposed to stay up there for 14 days. It was day 13, so close enough. Now, he's a good friend of mine because about 15 years ago, I was hiking out in the woods, and it was getting dark out. I was going to spend the night over, and I was way, way deep in the woods. And in the distance, I noticed something that looked like a bunch of trash. It looked like trash, but it wasn't. When I approached, there was a person that was knocked out. They were wearing a red jacket. And I tried to revive them, but they were knocked out. They had a bump on their head, it was all like bloody, and they just weren't moving. And I looked, it looks to me like they fell from the top of the ledge there, smashed their head on the ground, and they passed out. So I couldn't pull them out because they were way too heavy. And I was like 3 or 4 miles into the woods. I couldn't pull them out. So I had a strobe light on me. And I took the strobe light and I put it right by them. I put it on position, and it would, flash. Kind of like a flash cube that you would put on a camera, like a Kodak camera from the 70s, something like that. So I left that there, and then I took my jacket off, and I put it on top of them, keep them warm. And I went, back out the way I came in to try and find a payphone. So a couple hours later, I find a payphone, and I call 911, and I told them the situation. Said some dude in there is all banged up. I left a strobe light. When you find a strobe light, that's where he is. If you can rescue him, he's still alive because I felt his pulse. It was, beating. And anyway, that's what happened. I walked off and, continued where I was, and they rescued him by helicopter. About 2 or 3 days later, I get a call, and it was Detective Stiviletti. And he thanked me, that I found him and put the strobe light and called for help. And he was in the hospital because he broke his leg, he broke his arm, and he had fractured pelvis. So I go, how'd you find me? He goes, the jacket that I put on top of him had a business card. That was my business card in one of the pockets, and he just dialed a number on the card, and that was me. So we've been friends ever since, and anyway, he kind of helped me out this time, and I appreciate it, because otherwise, who knows what could have happened. I could have ended up, spending the night in jail somewhere. But Detective Stiviletti helped me out, and I appreciate it, like I said. So thank you.